Imagine you're a male firefly, and you only have a month or so to find your soulmate. You flash your lights and strut your stuff, but nothing comes of it. Then, a ray of hope shines as you witness the tantalizing bioluminescent strobe patterns of your one true love. You buzz forth, only to find a female of a different species who's much more interested in chomping down than she is in settling down. The Photuris firefly blurs the lines between fight and flight that we hold so dear in life, death, and taxonomy.
Welcome back to Life, Death, and Taxonomy. It's 30 minutes of interesting animal info or your money back. Every cent you paid to listen to this will be returned to you if it's not 30 minutes of interesting animal info.
That's our promise to you.
Yeah, and who's promising that? Well, I'm Joe.
And I am Carlos.
And today, we get 1,000 hugs from 10,000 lightning bugs, leading us to wonder why there is such a disparity between the hug-to-bug ratio. Do we smell? But more on that never.
More on that never. Like it.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are we talking about?
We are talking about a lightning bug, but not just any lightning bug. A Photuris lightning bug.
Important distinction. So, do you usually say lightning bug?
No, I usually say firefly.
Okay.
But I've heard it both ways.
I've heard it also lightning bug. Or you said lightning bug.
Firefly, lightning bug. There's another one?
Nope, that's it.
There's certain places in the U.S. that say both, and there's certain places that say one or the other. I think we live in an either-or place.
No, it's just firefly, even
Really?
though that's wrong. Bug is definitely more appropriate here.
In that Owl City song, he calls them both.
Yeah, he does, because it rhymes.
Yeah.
But we are talking about the Photuris firefly, a.k.a. This first one I didn't make up, the femme fatale firefly.
Yes.
Which we'll talk about later. But this one I did make up, the vamps with the lamps, and the best bug in the verse, because you can't take the sky from me. Like the Firefly show, you know
Yes.
that? You know that show?
Oh, I know that show.
Oh, okay, good.
I'm very familiar.
So, where do we stand on the taxonomical scale?
All right, let's taxonomically break it down. We live in a familiar kingdom. The Mushroom Kingdom. JK. The Kingdom Animalia.
William the Fourth's.
What?
I don't know.
Phylum, Arthropoda. Class.
Arthropoda.
I always say Arthropoda.
It's not a human.
I need to choose a different
It's like
font.
human feet.
Arthur. And now back to Arthur. Class, Insecta. Order, Coleoptera. And you may remember that from, 2 episodes ago?
No, more than
3?
2.
Pomus beetle?
Yeah.
Several episodes ago?
Beetles, just in general.
It lives in a superfamily called Elateroidea. Elateroidea, even. It lives in a family called Lampyridae.
I like that.
Or Lampyridae. Yeah, no, I did it right.
Lampyridae.
Yeah. Subfamily, Photourinae, or Photourinae.
Okay.
And then...
Is that light urine?
I don't know. The link doesn't work. It's a subfamily of fireflies. Contains well-known North American species.
Okay. I only know of one, and it's just the one that blinks.
I think, what do you mean blinks? I think they all blink.
I know, it's just, most people don't know that there are like thousands of species of fireflies.
Oh, yeah. And even this particular one we're talking about is a member of a
whole genus.
genus.
Although I have a specific species.
Okay.
But you can talk about it.
The genus is Photuris.
Uh-huh.
And there are several species like Photuris pennsylvanica.
That's the one I have.
Sweet.
It had the most information on Wikipedia.
It lives in Pennsylvania.
Yep.
But that's that. That's where we are. Very similar. This is a bug very similar to the Epomus beetle, except for some specialties.
It's also brutal.
Yeah.
But not quite as brutal.
The bug world is pretty brutal.
Yeah, it is.
But in terms of shape and description, there's some similarities. You ready to hear what it looks like?
Sure am.
Alrighty. Like most animals, in the Cleopatra order.
Okay. I think we said that last time for the Apomus beetle.
Yeah, I did. Fireflies are oblong beetles, so they're not like ladybugs where they're little circle boys.
Circle bugs.
They're like long oval shapes.
Uh-huh.
They have hard elytra, like the Apomus beetles do.
What was that again?
It's the wing sheath.
Right.
The thing that covers the wing, keeps it safe and dry.
Okay.
They have orange thoraces, which is the plural for thorax.
Thorax, huh?
But
like,
thoraxes is also acceptable.
Like matrices.
Is that the plural for mattress?
Yes. I'm selling 6 matrices.
It's a very fancy word.
Yeah.
It's a good. I feel like a matrice would go on a bed with a frame and like a roof.
That's a maitre d'.
A maitre d' sleeps in a bed.
Yep.
Okay. They have, so like I said, orange thoraces and black abdomens.
Abdominials.
Yes. The abs are tipped with a light-colored lantern. Mm-hmm. And elytra are brown and their elytra, or in particular elytron, are brown and yellow with a stripe down the length of the body.
So these are pretty cool looking dudes.
Yeah.
Especially the lantern part.
Yeah. Not many animals have lanterns, just us and them.
and the black sea devil.
You're right. There are plenty of animals that have bioluminescence, which we'll talk about later. But now, wasting no time, we've already made it to the listener's favorite segment of the show.
You had better say this with
I
me.
will say it this time. Say it with me now. Measure up. Said it weird.
I went measure.
Oh.
I've got an uncle that says measure.
Okay.
But he doesn't say treasure, so who knows?
But I like treasure.
Do you?
I do, yeah.
Me too. I like it in my bank account. If anyone wants to send me some treasure, go ahead.
Yeah, P.O. Box. We don't have one.
That's for legitimate businesses.
Legitimate businessman. Let's talk about length real quick.
All right.
They're about up to 1 inch. That's kind of on the large spectrum.
Yeah, that's a pretty
I saw
big one.
like a 0.7 inch of an inch, given that it is an inch. How many lightning bugs would it take to get to the length of the world's largest grapevine at Hampton Court Palace?
World's largest grapevine.
Yes. I'll give you a few hints. The vine lives at King Henry VIII's estate. Hint number 2. I know that one's not very helpful. Here's a second hint. It was first planted in 1768.
So it's an old grapevine.
Old vine.
It's been around for a while. The problem with vines is that they don't all just grow up. They grow out. So there's no limitation
this
that way.
will be the longest shoot.
Okay, so because I have no concept,
I've heard it both ways.
I have no idea of how long this could potentially be. It could be miles long.
It could be.
Or it could be like 20 feet. So...
Well, I mean, think about how much a mile long vine would have to suck up in nutrients.
I know, but you could have just a patch of vines that's just one big curled up vine or something like that. It's a mile long, like your intestines.
It's on a, those thatched hash.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Like a wicker type, wicker, but it's wooden and it's checker pattern. It's on one of those. It's like on an archway.
I know the name of this thing.
Really?
And I can't talk about it because I can't remember. So we're just not going to talk about it. All right, I'm going to say 12,000.
Not bad. 1,440.
That's the answer? 1,440 inches?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
12,000.
That was very wrong. This thing is a lot shorter than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I mean, a plant can only grow as much as the nutrients will allow.
Yeah, but it's maintained by King Henry VIII himself, his immortal ghost. So There's no limit to the resources they could give to this grapevine.
Maybe the ghosts of his wives are bewitching it.
Yeah,
making it not unlock its full potential.
But it's the longest one in the world.
All right. Let's move on to a measurement that we have never done before.
Ooh.
We're going to be measuring lumens.
Oh.
A lumen.
We need to break out of the shell here.
Yeah.
I did time once, so
Yes.
lumens is good.
A lumen is a measurement of brightness, and for perspective, a candle is 12 lumens.
Okay. What is 1 lumen? Why didn't they just make a candle 1 lumen?
I don't know. They should have.
They have I think candlelight is a measurement as well.
Yes, it is.
So it's like it's this many candle lights.
Yes. Candles.
Candles, yeah, sure.
So the lumens of a firefly depend on a lot of things. There's thousands of different species, so they don't all share the same amount of output.
So it's like mood, virility,
temperature, I don't know. But the most common firefly in North America, Photuris pyralis, is about 3 lumens.
Okay, that's weak. It's weak sauce.
Some of them are like 0.006.
Even weaker.
So, how many lightning bugs would be as bright as the sun? Is my question to you.
Real?
Yeah.
Couldn't have picked a flashlight.
How many lightning bugs would be as bright as the sun? Like if they were concentrated.
So is that how it works? If you put 2 lightning bugs together, now you have 6 lumens?
Yeah. Yes.
Huh. Okay. Also have no idea how many lumens the sun is. I'm going to say more than 12. Probably. I'm going to say a million. This time I'm serious.
Let me just tell you how many lumens the sun is.
Do I get to guess again?
10,000.
10,000 lumens?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a lot less than I thought it was going to be.
Now you have a pretty easy math problem.
Yeah, now it's going to be like 200?
333. Yeah. It's 10,000. It's 3,000. 333.
Yes. Which is very different than a million.
It is very different from a million. You would think the sun is brighter than that.
Because it hurts my eyes to look at.
How many candles is that? That's like a lot less.
I'm done doing math.
Well, I mean, 10,000 candles.
No, it's not 10,000 candles.
No, it's not. But that's
a
a song from Parks and Rec.
Oh, never mind.
Well, that maybe there's a reason we don't do lumens.
Because you have no concept of it. Speaking of their light, though, did you know that they produce a cold light, which with no infrared or UV? It's all within the visible light spectrum.
I did. Oh, interesting. Yes, I did know. I did know it was temperature cold.
Well, yes, it's also temperature cold because it's not
Doesn't
heat
produce
based.
heat.
I'm sure it produces some heat, like everything.
A small amount, yeah. Let's talk about distribution. Where in the world will you find a firefly?
I'm gonna guess everywhere.
No.
Ooh.
And no one knows why. Okay, so they prefer warm temperatures, warm to temperate regions, with lots of moisture. They like standing water, and they kind of work like mosquitoes in terms of making more.
Like the mosquito that's currently inside of this.
Yes, and it's plaguing us.
Our deluxe studio.
Yeah. There's not a lot of space, so it knows exactly where to get food. So fireflies in general live in the southern U.S., east of Kansas, and in southern Asia. Photuris fireflies, the kind we're talking about today, can be found as far north as Pennsylvania, as we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't live in the western United States, like west of the old Mississippi, even though there are humid and warm regions out there.
So specifically the Photuris doesn't live out there, but there are still lightning bugs in there.
No, lightning bugs don't live out there.
No lightning bugs?
Yeah,
West of
very
old
rare
Mississippi?
for them to be west of Kansas.
Wow.
And no one knows why. No one knows why they don't go there.
They're missing out.
They like tall grass. So maybe the South just has a good the American South and the east side of the country have a good amount of warm temperatures, humid climates,
And tall grass.
and tall grass. They're also not, as far as I can tell, in South Florida, even though there are 50 species in the state.
I have not.
And I don't know why.
I haven't really seen many, if not any, fireflies down here.
I've never seen a firefly down here. What is it? The hug thing? What is it?
Do we not give enough hugs? 10,000 hugs from 10,000 lightning bugs?
It's 1,000 hugs
Yeah, that's right.
to 10,000 lightning bugs.
So, no,
What?
from 10,000
Yeah.
lightning bugs. So only 1 out of every 10 lightning bugs is hugging you.
Or are they hugging at the same time and he's counting them different hugs when they hug at different times?
Or does a hug from a lightning bug count as 1/10 of a hug?
Or for there to be a good enough hug for a human being, does it take 1,000 lightning bugs?
No, because he gets 1,000 hugs.
Yeah.
So I'm saying that's what I just said, was that it takes 10 hugs from a lightning bug to equal 1 human
One
hug.
hug. Okay. We figured it out.
Good job, Adam Young. I'm sure he thought about this.
All right. So now, what makes them light up? The light comes from a firefly's abdomen, and it's from a process called bioluminescence.
Mm-hmm. We've talked about this before.
Yes. It's a chemical reaction.
It's a cool chemical reaction.
And so an enzyme called luciferase acts on fireflies' light-emitting compound, which is called luciferin. And if that's
the evilest compound.
and if that sounds like Lucifer, it's because they're from the same root word that means the morning star. Well, it means light.
Yeah, I thought it meant light bringer.
So Lucifer comes from the word morning star, which comes from Venus. So Venus, the word Venus, the Lucifer word for Venus comes before they started calling the devil that. And the reason that is because there was a Canaanite mythology where the morning star wanted to be, or the whatever deity that represented the morning star wanted to be brighter than all of the other stars, and then the king of the sky brought him down, and Isaiah alludes to this in Isaiah 14:12, and then it became synonymous in the culture with the devil because he has a similar story. He wanted to be like God, and he was brought low, crushed by the heel.
Like a lightning bug.
Yeah, just like a lightning.
Like a firefly.
Yeah. So you add a little magnesium ions, ATP, something that's ATP, I don't know what that is, but it's something, and oxygen, and you got a light with no heat, or a very little heat. So don't worry, Ed Sheeran, that loose firefly won't burn the place down.
I don't know that song.
That's a deep cut. I don't know if anyone will. So it must come from deep within the abdomen, right?
Sure.
It doesn't.
Oh, okay.
I figured you didn't actually.
I didn't know, but I also knew the answer was probably no.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like it does, but it doesn't. It comes from a patch on the surface of the abdomen. On the inside of the abdomen is regular bug guts.
So it's all taking place on the surface.
Yeah.
Oh, it looks like it's coming.
Yeah.
Like just its whole abdomen is full of light juices.
No, just the chemicals are on the surface on these patches, and many are very symmetrical and resemble common symbols like arrows, circles, and even hearts.
That's cute.
It is.
And odd.
Well, the light is produced to attract mates, so.
They like circles and symmetry and stuff.
Well, and hearts. Little hearts.
It's his be mine.
I think this is pretty normal because, design.
Hearts?
So, no, just like symmetrical patterns.
Sure, but like a heart?
Yeah, why not?
And our conception of a heart?
Yeah.
Not the amorphous lump that a heart actually is?
Because our conception of a heart is actually more symmetrical than a real heart.
Right. Or symmetrical at all.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you turn it to one side, it's symmetrical. Unless I don't know anything about hearts, which is the case.
Except how to break them.
So tropical fireflies can synchronize their lights through a process called phase synchronization. Southeast Asian fireflies are the only ones that will totally synchronize a burst of light at the same time.
Oh, that's got to be cool.
Yeah. In the beginning at dusk, they will start just like at random, but then over the course of the night will slowly synchronize. Like a whole tree or even larger areas.
That would be so cool to see a whole tree just like... Whoom,
yeah.
whoom.
But like, why? Why would they want that? They're trying to attract a mate. Why would they want to synchronize with everyone?
Because it looks cool and they know it looks cool.
Well, we're here. We might as well.
And no ladies are showing up. Might as well give these humans a show. So is that all you got for general info?
Yes, sir, Major Payne.
You know what I have written here? Major P. Winifred facts. I was going to give myself like some sort of name, but I was like, what name is better than that? All right. So, one last thing. Not all fireflies glow. Did you know that? Some are diurnal, living during the day instead of nocturnal. And they use pheromones to attract mates instead of flashes. So
well, that's less fun.
It is less fun. And are they still fireflies?
No.
Taxonomically, they are.
They're stank flies now.
Yeah, they stink instead of glow, and that's rude and gross.
Get it together, diurnal flies.
All right, so we are talking not just about fireflies in general. We're talking about the Photuris firefly, or Photuris, or whatever you want to call it. It's Latin, and it doesn't matter. So the Photuris firefly is a wolf in sheep's clothing.
What?
Yes.
This bug is a wolf?
It's an actual wolf, and it's in sheep's clothing, but it looks exactly like a firefly.
So it's wearing a firefly coat over the wool?
Over the wool of a sheep, and beneath both of those costumes.
Man, that's why they're on fire. Ha! Because it'd be really warm.
Everyone gets to hear you actually slap your knee. All right, so fireflies communicate through the flashes, which we talked about, I think. Mm-hmm. It's mostly to attract mates. Females can have a group chat with up to 10 males at a time.
So you're saying they will say, hey, what's up? And no one will answer?
No, they'll say, hey, what's up? And she'll say, nothing much, just watching Netflix, to 10 dudes. And they don't know that they all think she's talking to them.
Does she know that she's talking to multiple dudes?
Yeah, she'll start off the night, with a large pool and just kind of narrow it down like the Bachelorette.
Okay.
Eventually, she will only mate with one of the males.
That's very upstanding of her.
Yeah, she doesn't like drag them all along on.
She's not leading anyone on.
She is for a little bit.
Oh, okay. I mean.
But then she narrows it down, and they know that they're off the ballot.
As long as it doesn't last too long.
Yeah.
You don't want any feelings to develop between these fireflies.
You also don't want him to waste his whole night. If once he
Right.
realizes that it's not happening with this lady over here, he just shines it at another one. Usually females sit on the ground or like on grass blades or something like that, and the males will fly around up top. And it'll be like this communication between the two. It's actually a really structured communication that you can do with a flashlight.
Yes.
So there's this firefly expert, Dr. Sarah Lewis, and I was reading this New York Times article, and the writer of the article was just walking along with Lewis, and she sees a female on the ground, and then she just blinks like this specific species blink pattern to them, and then the female responds to it, which is pretty crazy.
A lot of species will fly with the light on in a hook pattern.
Pattern?
Almost like a J or like a hook.
Uh-huh. And then they'll turn it off and then go back to the start and then hook again.
Yeah.
So they kind of just do a circle where only part of it is lit.
Yeah.
Interesting. So it must be like the shapes as well as the pattern. But each species has its own pattern. That's what the Photuris lightning bug uses. So as larvae, usually a Photuris firefly will eat snails or worms or just things that can't get away very easily, and they'll sometimes live on the ground as larvae for 2 years.
Okay.
And then when they become adults, they live for 2 weeks to like a couple months. And their whole thing is to mate and then die.
So I've read that there's very little information about what they eat as adults. Some species don't eat when they're adults; they just mate and die. Larvae are predatory, carnivorous, but they eat as adults. They could think they eat nectars and
pollen and nectar,
plant materials and stuff.
Maybe, but the Dr. Sarah Lewis seemed to just talk about mostly them not eating at all, which is like why it's very important for them to find a mate as soon as possible, and also why it's very important for them to conserve energy. So whenever the male flies around, it's burning energy that he doesn't have. He's slowly starving to death.
Right.
But there are some species, and specifically within the genus Photuris, that prey on other fireflies.
Oh, no.
And, just eating other members of your species is not uncommon, especially in the bug world. But it's the way that they do it that's interesting. So, since there's this desperation to find a mate on the part of a lot of different species of fireflies, and also, these are in the genus Photinus, which is the ones that usually don't eat. And then we're talking about Photuris. So the females, this reminds me a lot about I Am Legend, the book. So I Am Legend, the book, there are actual vampires in it, not the Will Smith zombie things that attack him. So actual vampires. No, that's not spoiler alert.
So the premise.
That's the premise of the movie. Have you not seen it?
I've seen the movie. I haven't read the book.
In the movie, he's just fighting zombies, and in the book, the premise is yes, they're actual vampires that are sentient and can speak and stuff like that. And so, the main characters holed up inside his house all night, and to lure him to come outside, the female vampires will be seductive and dress seductively to get him to come outside, but obviously it's not like a attraction thing, they just want to eat him. So this is a very similar situation. Photuris females will mimic the flashing pattern of other smaller male species within the Lampyridae family. So when males come a knocking, they don't get to knock boots, if you know what I mean. Instead, they get eaten. Photuris females feed exclusively on males of other species. So vampire times are bad times.
Yeah.
Because also part of the mating ritual is the male will give a protein-packed nuptial gift to the female. So not all the time, but usually.
Like a secretion of sorts.
Yeah. And
one of it... Oh, continue. I'm about to say what I think you're about to say.
Well, maybe not. It's the fact that this protein pack, whatever, this nuptial gift, will allow the female...
Tang.
Who is... this protein shake will allow the female to live for longer and therefore have more offspring.
Yeah. So there's defensive enzymes or something or other in this little juice box.
It's actually like a little pack.
Yeah. So it will like help them survive, like you said. Like there's and they don't the Photuris species doesn't produce their own.
They have to take it.
They have to take it.
So that's part of the reason why this the females will predate on the males, because the males have the protein packs they want to give to the females of their species, and the female of the Photuris will just go and take the protein pack and just continue to live that way.
I heard it's like giving up someone a box of chocolates. It's like a little romantic gift.
Yeah, but if those box of chocolates were like just eggs, just protein, pure protein.
Just a bunch of hard-boiled eggs.
Peanut butter eggs.
I got you these. They're hard-boiled eggs.
And there's genetic material in the package so that the male passes the genetic material, and also the female can go and live for longer, and then the male, I guess, eventually dies.
That's perfect. Because the male's like, job done, I'm out. And the female, and he's like, you gotta lay some eggs, so here, live longer.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Kind of like the anglerfish going like, all right, I've done my job. Peace. I'm out.
Yeah.
As he slowly fades away into the background. But
or
also
into the face ground.
Yes, the face ground to the tummy ground. One PubMed journal that I read suggested that Photuris males, knowing that the females are hunting other fireflies, will mimic those fireflies to get the females to come to them.
Wow.
So it's like, oh man, she's not paying any attention to me. She only wants to kill and eat other males. So I'm going to pretend to be those males so she comes to me, but then she's going to realize that I'm a real deal. And then
she's like, well, all right.
And sometimes the females will just kind of fly above and look for the flashing patterns that signify like her prey, and then she'll go and like dive bomb. And sometimes she'll go on the ground and pretend to be a female, like other females, and then the males will come to her. So it's either active or passive predation, and that's called sexual mimicry.
Mm-hmm. It's also called something else. I don't remember. No, it's not. You said sexual predation. Is that true? Is it sexual?
I said sexual mimicry.
Oh. But also the males of the species, if they, are attracted by a Photuris, and they're kind of getting the idea that something's not right. They're not like down to accept genetic materials the normal way, which is not the mouth.
It's like the butt.
It's
they connect butts.
abdomen to abdomen.
Mm-hmm. Like love bugs.
Like love bugs, yeah. So if she's not turning around, she's like, well, what are you doing? Like stop this. And you know how he stops this? He glues her mouth shut. He'll release like this sticky substance and put it into her face. And she's sitting there like stuck with her like mouth parts and she can't eat him. She can't like bite him or suck out his
soul
nuptial gift. So he flies away.
I did not read that.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy.
So that's just a defense mechanism.
Yeah.
By the Photuris.
Maybe it's a couple different, maybe specific species or species, what have you.
Interesting.
But yeah.
And then she dies, I guess.
I don't know if it's permanent, but if he can get away.
She at least drops him.
Yeah.
And tries to get it off.
Yeah.
And so I saw this as like a that the fact that the Photuris lightning firefly predates on certain flash patterns is why there isn't like one flash pattern to rule them all.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like if females like this one flash pattern, like they like long sustained flashes or several rapid flashes or a flash and then 5 seconds and then in 2 flashes. The reason why it's so diversified is because there are lightning bugs that specifically prey on certain flashes. So it keeps it diverse. Otherwise, over the generations, it'll all just become one. But that's all I got.
Thank goodness. This has been a long one.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my. All right, so jostle your chemicals, get your glow on, and seduce your snacks in life, death, and taxonomy. Hey everyone. Sometimes, just like the Photuris firefly, Joe and I feel like we're just suspended in midair and flashing all the right signals to an audience that we can't even see. So let us know that you care by leaving us a review on your podcast app. You can also message us directly on Facebook, Twitter, or Gmail at LD Taxonomy. We love to hear from listeners, and your reviews go a long way. Also, if you have an idea for an animal you want us to talk about, let us know. So don't leave us blinking in the dark, and keep on loving animals.
This podcast is brought to you in part by the Brain Trust Brothers Network. For more information about this podcast or others, visit braintrustbros.com.
Also, the kids have been saying recently, and by the kids I mean humanity's kids, snacks are like very attractive people.
What?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
I know.
That's not a thing.
Yeah, it is. Look it up.
It's like, what? Oh, that person says, what, a nice snack?
No. No, you're just a snack. Like if...
It's like, I just want to gobble you up.
Kinda, yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so bougie.
Bougie?
Yeah, it's like, oh, darling, he's adorable. He's just a snack. I just want to munch on him.
Oh, like a tall glass of water. I just love moisture.
Moisture.